In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to overcome lust and go beyond petty human desires and getting stuck on fleeting things, getting stuck on things that aren't going to last, getting stuck on things that aren't worth anything. You need to realize that the only thing that's worth anything is God or the goddess, whichever form you want to put on the one source. And people get caught up in the flesh and appearances when it's all an illusion. Worldly love, and a lot of people, love is fun when it's taken as a game, as a play, but when we take it seriously and we treat it as solid reality when in fact it's an illusion, then that's when we suffer. Love is in the confines of this world. It's limited, it's conditional. Even the greatest companions, their companionship is based on loving each other, based on conditions, based on requirements that they fulfill in each other, needs. And if those needs aren't met, then it disappears. The only lasting love is God. The only thing that lasts is existence itself, which is all God. The only thing that truly lasts is that eternal bliss, which is nirvana. And that's how you can truly love other people, is by realizing that there's no need to hold on because everybody is you. When you see everybody is you, you don't have any lust, because what is there to lust on? It's God. Now, there will always be, we all are here to create and produce. So we were given the energy of sexual energy to produce, but that energy can be used to create, and it can be used to create your path in life, but you waste it on focusing on things that won't fulfill you. You focus it on your energy on things that aren't going to lead you anywhere. Instead, you should be focusing on things that are going to lead you to greatness, but you make the mistake of you pollute your awareness by letting anything come in. And Marcus Aurelius said, would you let anybody just jump up into your mind and cause a ruckus in it? So why do you let that happen? And it's like, why do you let outside things take hold of your mind and control it? It's like your awareness has so much power because it's so pure. Your true state, which is nirvana, God, whatever you want to call it, is pure and formless. But it can also become anything. But you let go of your creative power when you just waste it and focus your attention on the wrong things. But when you focus your power on the right things, you end up becoming great. There's a story of Lord Shiva. His wife had recently died. He was a sage slash god man. And Shiva, he lived a couple thousand years ago, and his wife had died, and he went to meditate alone. And whether you believe in this mythology or not, it's about the moral of the story. And Shiva was meditating, and then he felt some lust come up in him, and then he became aware of the lust. He was like, whoa, I feel some lust come up in me. And then he realized that it was the god of love, Cupid, that had possessed him to feel that lust and distract him from his meditation. Because you notice how when you lose something, you notice how he lost his wife, and that helped him achieve greatness. Now, he would have achieved greatness even with his wife, because his wife came back, because she's a goddess, and has like the power to come back in that story. But eventually she came back. But notice how when Shiva lost something, he created it to make something even greater, which is meditation, in which his spiritual power increased and his energy increased. And look how he didn't let that Cupid that tried to possess him, the god of Cupid, tried to possess him and distract him, but he didn't let that happen by using his awareness. Notice how in the story also he said, I feel some lust rising up in me. Now the impact, the god of Cupid is outside of him, while we know nothing is outside of us because everything is us. Everything is just an illusion, a play of separateness. But in this play, in this game of life, he was outside of him, but the impact was inside of him. So it was in his power to be aware of it. And what Shiva did was he burned it with his third eye. And that symbolizes using your awareness and letting that lust dissolve in that awareness. Now, it's you that causes your mind to have lust. It's you that causes your mind to have all these issues, and you grab onto. It's like, imagine you were just walking peacefully, right? And these things started appearing in your face, and somebody told you that if you just waited patiently, the random things that started appearing in your face would go away, but you just kept grabbing onto it, and that makes them keep appearing. That's what you're doing with your mind, instead of just letting it be, and the lust will just disappear. Any anger, all these egoic problems, the mind is ego. Everything in this world is ego, because it's all based on conditions. Everything that's based on conditions is based on the ego. We get caught up in lust when we think that it has more power than us. When we're attached to our body, we are not the body. So it's very easy to be beyond desires when you realize you're not the body. Now you can disengage from desires and then you can jump back into desires. But you make desires a big problem when you surrender your godhood or goddesshood to this little sex organ. And it's like, why fool yourself into thinking you'll find any fulfillment in this world? You could have the greatest romance ever and things change. People change. It's like they always think, oh, this person I was in love with, after a while they changed, or things, of course things changed. Even this video is changing right now. Everything's dying. I'm dying right now. You're dying. So it's like, why hold on to these fleeting things? Try to find something beyond this world. A lot of people get caught up in worldly pleasure, but that always ends up in the same cycle of disaster, where it's like you try to fulfill that hole through sex or, you know, like minuscule things, mundane things, and then you end up with nothing in your hand. It's like trying to search for water in the ocean that will like stay in your hand. It's never gonna. You could dig in the ocean all you want, but it's never gonna. Why not just relax in the ocean? But the reason people can't relax and the reason lust takes over people's minds is because they don't have fulfillment in themselves. But when you're content, this is why transcendental knowledge is so beautiful for society, because when you're content within yourself, then sexual crimes that are committed won't happen, because when you're content within yourselves, then there's no reason to commit violence on another. So this is why transcending your lust is so important. It's like you don't have to abstain from sex completely. A lot of people talk about brahmacharya, where, you know, there's complete celibacy, but you know, it's, if you want to practice physical practices, that's cool, but I think, you know, it's like, I think that's for people who are still stuck on their body consciousness. But when you know you're beyond the body, beyond the mind, you can participate in sex and not participate in sex. So you don't have to completely be celibate with this. It's just about being detached in your mind and using the power of your awareness to let the feeling of lust pass you and know it's not you. That's what gets people stuck in this world, stuck in this game of life. They think that they're this body. This body is just a vehicle experiencing itself. There is no you experiencing it. God is experiencing himself, and there is no self. It just is. So stop holding on, and then you won't even think about petty things like, it's like you're God and you're worried about the feelings of lust and how can it control you. You're so beyond that. It's like you have so much power, but then you surrender. It's like the opposite gender will always be there. There was a story of a Hindu sun god. He was getting so powerful that his wife ended up leaving him. So it's like, notice how a lot of people, men, they get caught up in like the success story or even women, they get caught up in the success story. It's like, oh, my success will make people stay or love me. That's not true. Or like, they want more success so they can fulfill their sexual desires. But notice how that Hindu sun god, he was so powerful, but then he ended up having to chase his wife around the world to get her back, because she was intimidated. Not that he was abusing her or anything, but she was just intimidated by that, like, he was getting greater, and she felt like that she wouldn't have the same control over him anymore. So notice how, like, you could have the greatest formula in the world and it still might not work out, because everything is up to God. So it's like surrendering your lust to a God and the goddess, it ends up in so much joy, because there's no joy, there's no everlasting joy in people, because that's, any idea you have of a person is just a game you have in your mind. You really don't know people. All you know is their pure existence as is. You just have a bunch of different perspectives on people, a bunch of different, it's like you get caught up in imaginations, caught up in desires, caught up in perspectives. That's why you get caught up in your mind. But you have to go beyond the mind and use your awareness to destroy lust, anger, and just all the things that pollute your mind and block your path to self-realization. And your life will be so much smoother and so much more beautiful when you just appreciate woman and the opposite gender as is, instead of just having to lust. Because it's like, friendship is so beautiful, and just being able to enjoy another's presence without having to feel like the other person has to complete something in you, you know? It's just like, just being, you know? And it's so beautiful. You end up attracting more people that way. Isn't it funny? It's like when you're content within yourself, you end up attracting what you thought you wanted. It's like, it's funny that how this universe works. It's like the Siddhartha Meshwar said, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is a slave to the one who does not care for her and makes the beggar of the one who runs after her. And what he was saying in that is that somebody who's content within himself, his needs lessen, and then he ends up getting his highest needs met. Because that's the beauty of life, is that it's like when you don't hold on to things, when you can just appreciate things as they are, so much more beauty opens up, because you are literally God and the goddess. So there's no limit to the beauty that you can experience, but you hold yourself back when you're stuck on this body and fulfilling its needs, and you miss out on so much strength and power. And it's like, I'm gonna make so many videos about this, because overcoming your lust is really important, because it opens your eyes to so much so much more, because lust makes you a slave. You think you're winning gold, and then it's like lust is like, it's like a gold trophy that's covered with gold, but inside it's like rotting copper. So it's like, you really need to understand that this illusion, this world, this Maya, it's only pretty for so long, but any pretty experience that you have, it has to disappear.